There I stood. Winner. I'd overcome all the challenges this world could throw at me. The demons of heaven and hell had fallen to my sword. I held trophies as proof of my conquest. There was nothing left to challenge me. I had taken it all on and emerged victorious. As I stood, watching the world, watching another day come to an end, I came to a realization. I was bored. I had searched east, west, north, south. I had scaled the highest peaks to find more challenges, but nothing was forthcoming. In the silence of contemplation, I started to hear it. Voices, sounds on the edge of hearing. Something else. I couldn't quite define what it was. Something calling me. Maybe there were more challenges out there. I knew what I had to do. I had to find out what this was, this calling. Perhaps I was just going mad from the solitude. I figured I'd interrogate the locals. If anyone would know where to go next, it was them. With the right persuasion, the information I needed was forthcoming, or at least a lead, something to go on. Away, a long way from here, buried under the desert, there was a library, a vast repository of knowledge. If I searched there, they said, maybe I could find the way out. A way out of this world, a way to somewhere else. Somewhere new. With the voices still talking, just chattering away at the edge of hearing. I scoured the useful items from my house. I wouldn't be returning, I knew that much. This was going to be a one-way trip. Either I got away from here, escaped, found somewhere new, or bust. One way or another. I took one last look at my home as I walked away, reminiscing on the hours, days, weeks spent here, scraping any advantage I could from this land, and then onwards, following the voices. Slowly, I began to realize that they called louder and stronger in certain directions, so I followed, led all the way by them, by the promise of something else, just anything else. I still couldn't make out what was being said. I didn't even know if I ever would, but I trusted that eventually, well, I didn't trust, I just hoped that eventually I'd find the answer I was looking for here. I must have made a strange sight walking past my previous conquests. Almost an aimless looking soul. It was almost gratifying to see my past achievements, seeing the things that I had done, the strange concepts I'd come up with to get ahead, to make my way, to eventually conquer everything that was thrown at me. I had one last friend I needed to get. My lucky last arrow. What an adventure that had been. And then onwards, following the voices off under the mountains. Should anyone come through this way in the future, well, make of it what they will. But I doubt they'll ever figure out what went on here. Eventually I found it, the place they were talking of, the library. And the voices again led me onwards, louder, louder, like a cruel game of hot and cold, until I found it. I found the book that I required. It laid out the designs to a weird machine that, if activated, would give you escape, if activated in the right area. I followed them again. They got louder and louder. It was as though it was screaming in my head. And then, all at once, silence. This was it. This was where I needed to set it up. This was where I was going to make my escape. One way or another. I followed the plans laid out and assembled the strange device to the best of my ability, and what was left was to turn it on and, I guess, hope. I'd not heard the voices since I arrived in this area. Maybe I'd finally gone completely insane, I don't know. There was only one way to find out. I could hear explosions below, feel the ground vibrating. For all I knew, I was bringing about my death, but at this point I just cared naught. I'd fought long enough in this place. One way or another I was getting out of here. Eventually the explosion subsided, the ground stopped shaking, and I decided to go and check the results. I guess this was what the voices meant by a way out. Whether it led somewhere else or just to my death, it didn't matter at this point. There was only one thing left to do. Take the plunge. G'day everybody, and welcome to the dream sequence interlude where I explain what is going on. Welcome everybody to 10 Hearts Season 3. Yep, I'm back. It's been a while, but I gave myself 6 months to adjust to family life and stuff like that before I would get back into regular stuff, regular series, and it's been that long. And I haven't been idle in that time. I've been working on some stuff. So before we get back to our hero falling through the void, let me just show you a little bit of what's going on in this new world. And yeah, then we'll get right back into the happenings. So, first thing to note, of course, my health isn't going back up. Yes, that's right, it's ultra hardcore, as per usual. But that's not all. Oh, no, that's not all. Now, you'll remember in the first 10 Hearts world that I couldn't use a crafting table ever. And that's somewhat restrictive. So we've lightened that things up in Season 3. Oh yes, there are crafting tables. However, oh no, I cannot use it again. In fact, I cannot even click on it. That's right, you can only use a crafting table once, that's right, once only, in a 20-minute period. You guys thought I was going to say at all. No, you can use it once in a 20-minute period. which I think should make for a good variation of tactics and things like that, while not making things completely insanely boring. Now, let's just put our flying boots back on. As you guys might have noticed, the terrain seems somewhat bizarre. We have amplified terrain, followed by regular terrain in concentric circles, working its way outwards from the center of the map, all the way down to flat terrain. And then it repeats, back up to regular, back up to amplified, and so on and so forth. I've made the bottom of the map at Y16 so that not all the diamonds are visible. Now, that's just a small subset of what I have modified in this server. Oh yeah, did I mention? It's a server. We might have some friends joining us along the way, if they're up to the challenge. The more astute viewer will also have noticed, I'm currently standing in a forest right now, but it's covered in snow. What's going on there? Well, it's day 1 of spring, and the start of spring is often still very cold. That's right, I have put in... Oh, someone's pinging at me, sorry. I've added seasons. Basically it goes from winter through to summer, back to winter again, and during that time the temperature goes up and down, water will freeze. It'll also freeze at night and maybe thaw during the day, depending on the biome and all that sort of stuff, which I think will add a bit of fun to the mix. Anyway, I think that's given away enough of the secrets. There's lots more, trust me. I have not been idle. Yeah. So, without any more hoo-ha, let's get back to our fooling friend and dive into 10 Hearts Season 3. Falling. Nothing but me and the void and stars. Light? Was that the sun? The moon? What are you... Oh. Uh-oh. Huh. Well, I guess we've arrived. I guess it's time to start again. It's a new world. It's got some new challenges. It needs a new conqueror. It's time to get it on. It's time for 10 Hearts Season 3. Let's go.